Dear seeker, have you ever paused to wonder why the very force that sustains your life is the one most neglected? The breath, silent, unseen, and constant, is the oldest companion you have carried since the first cry of birth. Yet, within this ordinary rhythm lies the most extraordinary secret. Babaji has said, breath is the golden thread that ties man to God. To breathe unconsciously is to walk half asleep through existence, but to awaken to the breath is to discover the eternal current of Prana, the life force flowing in every living being. Consider this, your breath changes with every emotion. In anger, it becomes fiery and shallow. In fear, it trembles and breaks. In peace, it deepens and softens like a calm river. What then is breath, if not the mirror of your soul state? And if the mirror can be stilled, does it not also still the waves of the mind? Babaji always reminded his disciples that healing begins not in the herbs of the earth nor the medicines of man, but in the subtle currents of prana moving through the body, directed by the breath. When you breathe with awareness, you are not merely inhaling air, you are drawing in light, strength, and divine intelligence. Each exhale becomes a release of fear, doubt, and suffering. In this sacred exchange, healing unfolds naturally, quietly, and powerfully. The sages discovered that by governing the breath, man may govern not only his body but the tides of destiny itself. So, dear seeker, I ask you again, what if the key to health, peace, and awakening has been flowing through you all along, with every breath you take? Dear seeker, why is the breath considered sacred in the eyes of the great masters? Babaji, the immortal yogi of the Himalayas, revealed that breath is not merely air moving in and out of the lungs, but the subtle carrier of prana, the cosmic life force pervading the universe. Just as rivers carry water to nourish the earth, breath carries prana to nourish the body, the mind, and the soul. Without prana, the body becomes lifeless. With prana flowing freely, vitality, clarity, and harmony blossom. Babaji once told his disciples, breath is the chariot, prana is the horse, and the soul is the rider. To guide the chariot well is to arrive at the gates of liberation. When we ignore the breath, we cut ourselves off from this sacred current. Life becomes mechanical, heavy, and burdened with disease. Yet when we honor it, by breathing with awareness and reverence, we awaken the silent healing streams that flow within. The sages of every tradition have pointed to this secret. The universe itself breathes, and in your breath, you are in rhythm with the cosmos. Each inhalation is a gift received, each exhalation, an offering returned. Babaji taught that to see breath as ordinary is to remain blind, but to see it as sacred is to open the doorway to higher states of consciousness. When you take a conscious breath, you do not just oxygenate the body, you invoke the very essence of life, the subtle intelligence that knows how to heal, balance, and renew. So, dear seeker, let the breath no longer be unnoticed. See it as your most intimate prayer, a constant whisper of the divine within you, a sacred reminder that God's presence flows with every rise and fall of your chest. Dear seeker, in this modern age, man rushes through life, burdened by anxiety, sleeplessness, and the endless search for remedies outside himself. Medicines are sought, cures are purchased, yet often the deeper imbalance remains untouched. Babaji, in his timeless compassion, reminded his disciples, the body carries its own pharmacy, breath is the key that unlocks it. Within you already lies a natural fountain of healing, waiting to be awakened through conscious breathing. Observe how the body responds when breath is shallow and hurried, the heart races, tension rises, and confusion clouds the mind. But when the breath slows, deepens, and flows with awareness, an alchemy begins. Stress hormones dissolve like mist before the sun, the immune system strengthens, and blood pressure finds balance. The very cells of your being drink prana, becoming luminous with renewed energy. Even the brain, nourished by a steady stream of oxygen, awakens to clarity and stillness. Babaji revealed that prana is not only physical energy but also subtle intelligence. When guided through the breath, it knows where to heal, how to restore, and what to dissolve. It enters the body like a silent physician, working in harmony with your divine design. This is why sages called breath the forgotten medicine, always available, always free, yet unnoticed by most. So, dear seeker, the next time restlessness grips you, or when the body aches with fatigue, remember, healing does not lie far away. With one conscious breath, you are already drinking from the hidden spring within. Babaji taught that this inner pharmacy, once awakened, can serve you in every season of life, bringing not only health to the body, but peace to the heart and strength to the spirit. Dear seeker, the mind is like a restless lake, disturbed by endless winds of thought, memory, and desire. Babaji often told his disciples, the breath is the cord that ties the bird of the mind. If the cord is steady, the bird cannot fly in all directions. Have you noticed how, in moments of anger, the breath becomes sharp and shallow, while in peace, it becomes soft and deep? This truth reveals a profound secret. The mind and the breath are inseparably linked. To master one is to master the other. When the breath is restless, the mind cannot be still. When the breath is calm, the mind naturally follows. This is why Babaji urged seekers to turn to breath before turning to thought. For thoughts cannot silence themselves, but breath, when guided with awareness, gently leads the mind into stillness. In this stillness, healing begins, not only in the body but in the very roots of the psyche where disease first takes birth. Modern man chases cures for stress, depression, and anxiety, yet Babaji's timeless teaching whispers, still the breath, and the storm within shall rest. With every conscious inhalation, you invite peace. With every soft exhalation, you release fear, agitation, and sorrow. Slowly, the mind learns to rest like a calm lake, reflecting the light of the soul. This stillness is not empty, it is full of presence. It is the ground where intuition awakens, where wisdom flowers, and where natural healing deepens. Dear seeker, remember this, you need not wrestle with your thoughts. Simply return to the breath, for it is the hidden doorway through which the restless mind bows to silence, and silence becomes the true medicine of the soul. Dear seeker, Babaji, in his infinite compassion, never burdened his disciples with complexity. He revealed that even the simplest act, if done with awareness, carries immense power. The simplest breath, done with reverence, is greater than the grandest ritual performed in forgetfulness, he taught. And so, he gave seekers a method, a doorway into healing and awakening, through conscious breathing. Sit quietly, with your spine straight, as though your body itself were a temple. Close your eyes and let your awareness rest gently on the flow of breath. As you inhale through the nose, imagine you are drawing in golden light, a stream of prana descending from the vast cosmos into your heart. Hold this breath for a brief moment, not with strain, but with gratitude, as though holding a sacred gift. Then exhale softly, releasing all tension, all heaviness, all that no longer serves you. Repeat this cycle slowly, letting each breath become a prayer. With practice, you will notice that your heartbeat grows calm, your thoughts grow quiet, and your body feels lighter. Pain, fear, and fatigue begin to dissolve, for prana itself carries the intelligence of healing. Babaji revealed that this practice is not about controlling the breath with force, but about befriending it with awareness. The breath then becomes a bridge, carrying you from the restless surface of life to the deep sanctuary within. Dear seeker, even 5 minutes of this practice each day can transform your state of being. It is not in the length of time but in the depth of presence that its power lies. Through conscious breath, you learn to heal, to purify, and to remember your eternal connection with the divine. Dear seeker, natural healing through the breath is but the first step. Babaji revealed to his disciples that when the breath is purified and made conscious, it awakens the deeper pathways of the soul. Breath is the stairway from earth to heaven. To ascend with awareness is to return to your origin, he said. What begins as simple calmness soon becomes the gateway to higher states of consciousness. As prana flows with purity, it rises through the subtle channels within the body, nourishing not only the flesh but also the hidden centers of energy. This movement stirs the dormant power at the base of the spine, the silent flame of divine potential. Through steady and sacred breathing, this flame begins to rise, opening the inner doors of perception. The seeker feels a growing lightness, a clarity beyond thought, and a joy not dependent on the outer world. Babaji reminded his disciples that healing of the body is only the outer fruit, the true fruit lies within. The breath, when mastered, lifts the seeker above fear, above desire, above the illusions of separation. It reveals the soul as eternal, untouched, and radiant. With each conscious breath, the boundary between self and spirit thins, until the seeker rests in oneness with the infinite. Thus, breath is not only medicine for the body, it is the ladder of liberation. Healing prepares the ground, awakening is the flower that blooms. Dear seeker, know this, every inhalation is an invitation to rise, every exhalation a surrender to the divine. Walk this sacred rhythm with awareness, and you will find that the breath which heals also leads you home. Dear seeker, Babaji often reminded his disciples that the highest truths are not meant only for the meditation seat or the quiet cave in the Himalayas, they are to be lived in each breath of daily life. What use is a practice that is forgotten when you open your eyes? He would ask. Thus, breath awareness is not a ritual to be confined to certain hours, but a living presence woven into every moment. As you walk, let your steps fall in rhythm with your breath, so that each stride becomes a meditation in motion. Before meals, pause for a few calm breaths, offering gratitude and blessing to the food that will become your very life force. In times of conflict or stress, instead of reacting quickly, take one deep conscious breath. You will see how peace silently returns, and clarity lights your next action. Even in the simplest tasks, washing, speaking, listening, let your awareness rest on the gentle flow of the breath. It will remind you that you are not lost in the world's noise but anchored in the eternal current of Prana. Slowly, you will find that healing is not an event but a constant companion, and spirituality is not a distant goal but a way of living. Babaji declared, "A life lived with awareness of breath is a life lived in union with God." With every inhale, you draw the divine closer. With every exhale, you surrender yourself into His care. In this rhythm, you will walk through life with balance, strength, and serenity, no matter the storms that surround you. So, dear seeker, carry your breath as your silent teacher, your hidden healer, and your constant bridge to the infinite. Dear seeker, you have now glimpsed the sacred truth Babaji revealed, that the breath is not ordinary, but the very river of life flowing through you. It heals the body, it quiets the mind, and it lifts the soul toward its divine origin. With every conscious breath, you are reminded that God is not far away, but present within the rise and fall of your chest. Babaji, in his infinite love, declared, "Through the mastery of breath, you master the currents of destiny itself." This mastery does not come through force, but through gentle remembrance, a daily return to the breath as prayer, as offering, as bridge to the infinite. Begin today, even with a single mindful breath, and let it grow into a stream of healing that carries you through every moment of life. Dear seeker, as you step away from this message, pause and feel one conscious breath. Let it be your blessing, your medicine, and your connection to the eternal. And when you have felt its peace, share it with others, for this wisdom is not meant for one alone, but for all humanity. I invite you to reflect in the comments, how has the power of breath touched your own life? Your words may inspire and guide another seeker walking this sacred path. May Babaji's grace guide your journey always, may your breath be filled with light, and may your heart rest in peace beyond all fear. Jai Guru Dev.